Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling series, and we are on the 24th of September 1988. Jim Duggan is back because he'd been gone for a little while, in 87, that is, and he faces Antonio Chapman. Duggan at this point, kind of in the midst of his run with Andre the Giant, pretty much, and Dino Bravo. Big hip toss by Duggan. Duggan, of course, a mainstay in the area, probably would have gone further in his life with the WWF had he not gotten in trouble with the Iron Sheik in 1987, in the spring of 87. Dino Bravo out to try to distract Duggan. Duggan manages to get distracted momentarily, hits a big body slam, and then hits the running clothesline that Jim Duggan is known for. Obviously, the Bravo feud is where they're going. Some people say that's a good idea. Some people say that's not a good idea. I remember Jim Duggan being in the first main event that I ever went to as a kid in March of '89. Jim Duggan and Jake Roberts were a tag team against Rick Rude and Andre the Giant, oddly enough. Anyway, we then see the transformation into Akeem from the One Man Gang. They do a thing with the Slickster where the African Dream Akeem is born. He is wearing blue and yellow muumuu, for lack of a better term, making fun of Dusty Rhodes in the American Dream concept. The Slickster is bringing rap music into this place where it looks like a oil barrel or something of the sort is lit on fire. And obviously, Akeem would be around for a couple of years. He doesn't stay around too terribly long gone. Sometime in 1990 is Akeem. He does return for the Gimmick Battle Royal, but it's amazing that even he was so well remembered all those years later that they felt the need to bring him back for that type of situation with the 2001 Gimmick Battle Royal. So it's just an interesting thing to me that he's always been kind of a guy that you look at and might be a little nostalgia there that people really love. Tito Santana is up here. Obviously, Santana by himself for a good bit of time from about May or June of '88 forward, as Rick Martel went home to take care of his ailing wife. I believe she had some form of cancer at the time, and he took some time off to obviously care for her and provide love and support to her. Tito doesn't really get all he wants out of that match, but punch, kick, body slam, and flying forearm later. We are promoted a Spotlight magazine with Randy Savage on the cover. Pretty big deal. The Bolsheviks are here. They are a relatively new tandem. Nikolai Volkov, Boris Zukov are here. I don't know if the Slickster is managing them quite yet. I believe, yes, he is. So, I mean, they are a pretty big team there, kind of replacing the Iron Sheik at the time, or soon thereafter, less than a year after the Sheik and Volkov tandem. This team really never goes too far in terms of longevity. I think they were there more as a enhancement style team to fill out cards. Punch, kick, and Nikolai with the backbreaker he is known for, and that leads to, not to mention a press slam too, that leads to a victory for the international team. We move to a event center series of promos. The Demolition are here. They are ready to challenge any team that's in their way. Kind of looking at the Rockers, kind of looking at the Hearts. Ultimate Warrior is here. He is your new Intercontinental Champion of about 4 to 6 weeks, and he is kind of gearing up for rematches with the Honky Tonk Man, among others. Warrior looks jacked here in ways that very few people would comprehend. King Haku up next. Haku, obviously one of the toughest men in the area. He's kind of used in '88 as a bit of a, uh, jack of all trades, master of none type guy. Punch, kick, chop, and other martial arts in reverse crescent kick. Haku was a guy who I can remember as a kid being scared to death of, even before I knew the legend of his story. Of course, he's with Bobby Heenan, but Haku walked by me after a match with Jim Neidhart, and I was very young, probably about, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old, and he said a dirty word under his breath, and it was clear that he was not a happy guy. We go to some promos, and one of which is Rick Rude. Rick Rude and Jake Roberts still going at it months after WrestleMania 4. Their feud hasn't peaked yet. Savage and Bad News Brown is a thing about this time, the summer of this time. Again, we see the Powers of Pain as baby faces, which is just weird to me. They don't turn until the Survivor Series. Baron von Raschke, who of course is predominantly AWA based, is here. They are doing a bunch of power, fresh slams, body slams, and the like. Top rope clothesline and headbutt from the Barbarian. Barbarian and the Warlord have virtually no, if no at all, challenges. Outlaw Ron Bass challenging just about everybody. Kind of angry that he, in fact, was affected by the haircutting of Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And eventually they are going to tie up again on Saturday night's main event, and the full hair cutting / shaving of the head will commence. Then we move to another enhancement match. This time we see Jake Roberts. Again, Roberts still in the midst of his issues with Rick Rude. Arm drags and short clothesline by Jake. The enhancement talent says that Jake pulled the hair. Jake would not need to pull the hair. It's amazing to me how lean Jake looks. Short clothesline and DDT later, and he's got the victory. Lean he looks, but at the same time, muscular and very tall. Guys that these days aren't that tall. I'm all for people following their dream, but wrestlers were certainly a whole different breed back in the 70s and 80s as far as size is concerned. Speaking of different breed, Rougeau brothers Jacques and Raymond, freshly aligned with Jimmy Hart, are here. Lots of backflips, cartwheels, and the like, punches, kicks, savate kicks, and the bombs away style maneuver by the Rougeaus. Rougeaus, of course, just turning heel not too terribly long ago. They had about a year and a half, maybe, run as baby faces, maybe just under 2 years. But aligning with Jimmy Hart bred new breath into them, so to speak. Greg Valentine wants to get his hands on just about anybody, not limited to his former tag team partner, Dream Team tag team partner in the WWF, and that of course is Brutus the Barber Beefcake, which is what he talks a lot about in the area of the event center. And we close out with the event center promos here. I don't remember if this particular episode had the list of matches. I usually try to put those out when they're there, but this one doesn't. This is more local or less localized than normal, but we will be back with more action right after this.